I usually start writing my poems with a mental image that comes to me in a given moment in life. That mental image is like a combination of image, thought, and emotion. And then I start to build a poem around this image and look for a moment in the poem that can liberate those elements from the earlier mental representation of that image. My poems are more imagistic most of the time, but it's not always like that. I also write narrative poems sometimes. Those poems usually start with events in life and interactions with people. I noticed in some of my poems, although it's written in modern Chinese, I deliberately removed a lot of the function words and created this ambiguities and the spatial relationships between the images and sometimes temporal relationship between the images. It's not a conscious effort in paying tribute to classical Chinese poetry. And I know this is a very grand cultural Chinese traditions, but in terms of writing, it doesn't speak to me that much. But rather, it's closely connected to the modern life experience in Hong Kong, I guess. When I was pondering over such use of language, I realized that Hong Kong is exactly like that. Our living spaces are very small. And in Hong Kong, everything is so expensive. The price of the apartment is the top of the world. And we often remove what's unnecessary from our life and only keep what we value in our living spaces. And that would lead to giving away a lot of books. In Hong Kong, the apartments are so small and you can't actually afford the luxury of having a lot of books at home. So we basically just giving away. It was because of this limited spaces that we see immense possibilities in everyday life. So rather that I say has something to do with classical Chinese poetry, um, such poetics has actually something to do with my life experience in Hong Kong. I write usually
Mhm.
early evening, but I won't stay up writing until very late, early evening. And after dinner and after my routine walk um, around my neighborhood, and I come back, and sometimes I will start writing poems if I have this mental image that compels me to write. Of course, um, I think as a poet, you get inspirations all the time or most of the time because a poet is usually sensitive to the life experience. But you don't always have the time to write it down. I don't force myself to write every day in a certain time.